Hey guys, what's up? This is Let's Talk, a channel where we talk about theories, opinions, and reviews of nerdy properties you love. Today we're going to be talking about the Book of Boba Fett, specifically some important dialogue that we get in the fourth episode. So let's dive right into it. So in the fourth episode of the Book of Boba Fett, we've got several fireplace scenes between Boba Fett and Fennec Shan. In the first two fireplace scenes between these characters, we get some dialogue about Bib Fortuna and Boba Fett's relationship to Bib Fortuna, which might lead on to more than what we currently know. So the line of dialogue that I am going to be referring to and may have caught your attention is between Boba Fett and Fennec Shan before they take back his gunship. He says, quote, "Then I'm gonna kill that bloated pig who double-crossed me," unquote. Okay, so this is a little off-putting, because as far as we know, Boba Fett's demise in the Sarlacc is primarily due to Han Solo hitting his jetpack. It doesn't really make sense that Bib Fortuna double-crossed him, other than the fact that he somehow survived the battle on the sail barge over the Sarlacc. But this isn't the first line of dialogue that alludes that there might be something more to Boba Fett's demise. Boba Fett has constantly referred to what happened as being left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. In a previous conversation with Fennec Shan, in reference to Bib Fortuna, Boba Fett says that if he just asked for the Slave One back, that he might not like the answer. It seems like there is something more to their relationship that we don't know about just yet. So here's where the theory kicks in. Let's say that this dialogue pays off. Now, whether we get this in flashback form or just through dialogue, I'm going to go all the way and say that we might get this in a flashback type form, or that the story is told visually instead of just through dialogue. So what if we get to see the events of Return of the Jedi through Bib Fortuna and Boba Fett's lens? We start off with Bib Fortuna, who has ambitions to take Jabba the Hutt's throne. However, every time he attempts to assassinate Jabba, he sees Boba Fett at Jabba's side and hesitates. We then cut to the sail barge above the Sarlacc pit. As chaos erupts, Bib Fortuna sees an opportunity. He sees an opportunity to end Jabba and his most ruthless muscle, Boba Fett. Before Boba Fett goes topside to engage in the battle above the Sarlacc pit, Bib Fortuna drugs him with spice. Now I say spice for several reasons. First, this would tie Boba Fett's demise indirectly with the Pikes and the current dealings that we have in the Book of Boba Fett. However, there is also a line in The Mandalorian Season 2, Chapter 14, when Boba Fett returns, where he refers to spice. This could be a throwaway line, but this could also give that line a bit more meaning. I don't think that Boba Fett is the kind of character that would have used spice willingly. After all, he was a professional. Moving on, let's say that Bib Fortuna slips Boba spice somehow. Perhaps he doesn't have his helmet on just yet. Anyways, as Boba Fett flies into the battle, he begins to feel the effects of the spice. If you remember, at a certain point in the battle, Boba Fett gets knocked out very briefly. What if when he awakens from that knockout, he begins to feel the full effects of the spice? This would explain why he has such bad aim when he's using his wrist blaster to shoot Luke, and also why he's completely oblivious to Han Solo behind him. So this would explain several confusing elements that we currently have right now. First and foremost, it explains the confusing lines of dialogue that Boba Fett has in this vendetta that he has against Bib Fortuna. However, it also explains why he went down in such a silly way in Return of the Jedi. It could also help explain why he didn't remember where his armor is when he goes back to the Sarlacc pit. Now, I think that it makes sense that a man who was trapped in a Sarlacc pit, potentially for a number of days without food or water, who burns himself alive to climb out and then gets baked in the Tatooine suns, would have a hard time remembering those events, not to mention the potential trauma that comes with it. However, you add a potential drug overdose to that mix, and it would really blog his memory. Now, the final end that this would tie up is the involvement of spice. It would indirectly tie Boba Fett's demise to the spice. However, we could take it one step further and say that perhaps Bib Fortuna got the spice from the Pikes. Perhaps he works out a deal with the Pikes to get that spice to take out Jabba and or Boba Fett. The Pikes, who clearly want Tatooine for their drug trade, could probably much easier handle Bib Fortuna than they could Jabba the Hutt. And as we see in the early episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, this does actually happen, and it does seem to work out in their favor. So that's all I got today, guys. This is my first episode, so please let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts? Am I going a little too crazy? Am I reaching a little too much out of just a tidbit of dialogue? But whatever it is, let me know. This is my first video, so I'd love any and all feedback. I'm just a guy with some opinions on a computer in a gaming headset. So I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate you guys listening in, the few of you that do. Other than that, let's come back and talk about some more Book of Boba Fett at a later time. Thanks, guys.